I know there are a lot of ways to make beef tallow, but here's how I make mine. This is 5 pounds of beef fat. I got it from my local butcher. I cut it up into small pieces and added kosher salt and a bottle of purified water. This went on low in a crock pot, and I had placed the crock pot outside because I didn't want my house to smell. On this wet render of beef tallow, I like to push it. I like to make sure that I get the most out of my batch, but not to burn it. This rendered for about 20 hours. Then I strained the bits out and squeezed them to get the most out of it. And I had strained it with a paper towel and a fine mesh strainer. This takes some time. It drains very slowly from the paper towel. And I already knew this batch wasn't going to be clean, so I knew I was going to have to render it again. Do you see all the impurities on the bottom? Yeah, that's going to settle to the bottom, and you're going to want to get it off. This went in the fridge overnight, and the next day I opened up. It was nice and clean at the top, hard, but the bottom was nasty. This is leftover from water, impurities. So I wiped off the bottom with a paper towel, and then I also used a butter knife to scrape it as well, since it was embedded into my tallow. When I cut it in half and tested in the middle, it was very hard, so that's a good sign. Means that there's no moisture. However, we're going to render it again. I'm going to cut it up in small pieces and put it in the crock pot for 1 hour on low. I could already tell that this dry render was going to be much better. Then, you guessed it, we're going to strain it again the same way as before. The reason why I dry render it so many times is because I want it as clean as possible for shelf-stable life. I can already tell that this batch looks good. This is going to go in the fridge overnight. The next day, I have popped it out and it looked much cleaner. Nice and hard overall, barely gooey on the bottom. So I just wiped it with a paper towel, cleaned it off well, then I cut into it, and there was no signs of moisture in the middle. It was still rock hard. So I decided this last and third render was going to be my last. I cut it up again, stuck it in a crock pot for about an hour on low, strained it per usual like we did before, and I did not let this cool. I went ahead and poured it into my mason jar. I roughly got 3 cups of tallow out of this, and this is going to go in my pantry. The shelf life on these is about 8 to 12 months. If you put it in the fridge, it will last longer. I don't, because I use it up pretty quick. And that's why I render it so many times, is because I want to keep it in my pantry. Cheers!